You got depression, obesity, and hearing loss. So if you were to go to your primary care doctor with dementia or your neurologist, what are some of the traditional treatments that are going to be offered? One might be a prescription drug called Aricept, which is a cholinesterase inhibitor, meaning it increases the amount of acetylcholine in your brain. Acetylcholine is one of the key neurotransmitters, and it's like turning the gain up. Um, so we also have a question here. Oils lubricate the joints? Yes, oils definitely lubricate the joints, and I would refer you to an amazing video from Dr. Michael Greger that just dropped within the last week, showing that olive oil, not by mouth, but topically over a joint or arthritic joint, is really good at stopping the inflammation. Okay, so going back to Aricept or donepezil, cholinesterase inhibitors, that's one category. Another category are called NMDA inhibitors. An example is memantine or Namenda. And these definitely help with some of the symptoms. And then there's a third category recently brought to the market within the last few years called Leqembi. Has way too many side effects, and I'll go over the problems with these new antibodies against amyloid. I'll do that in a little bit. All right, so again, the three categories that are prescription drugs that are normally offered are the cholinesterase inhibitors, the NMDA antagonists, and the monoclonal antibodies. And medications like Aricept, they can help, but they're definitely side effects. Things like nausea, insomnia, weakness, and cramping. So the anticholinergic medications have been linked. So this is the opposite. So instead of increasing acetylcholine in the brain, what happens if you take a medication over the counter or prescription that lowers the amount of acetylcholine? And when I see a 70-year-old patient, often they're on 10 different medications, and maybe 4 of the 10 are anticholinergic, meaning they're decreasing the amount of acetylcholine. And in this I couldn't even fit all the ones on this slide, but one of those is called Benadryl or diphenhydramine. And which is a great drug for allergies, for an acute allergic reaction. My concern is you don't want to be on a drug like Benadryl or diphenhydramine chronically, because what happens is it increases your risk of getting dementia. All right, so another category is the NMDA receptor, including memantine. And that can help, but you get side effects like headache, constipation, dizziness, and feeling sleepy. All right. So another medication class associated with Alzheimer's are statins, which can cause CoQ10 deficiency. CoQ10 is an important cofactor in mitochondria. And so some of the patients that get started on statins develop dementia. And sometimes it's reversible, meaning if they stop taking the statin for the cholesterol medicine, the symptoms will go away, but not all. I mean, I gave this lecture a couple months ago, and there's a gentleman in the back who had been a professional banjo player. He started the statin. He lost his memory for playing the banjo. He could no longer play professionally. He stopped the statin, but he never got that memory back. So for that reason, I try to stay away from statins for my patients. And um, became famous on TikTok and Instagram. I did a video on this topic with Robert Love. We had 1.6 million and 2 million views talking about 3 prescription drugs that increase the risk of Alzheimer's. And then it was covered by the Daily Mail. It's interesting how it works these days. the Daily Mail basically said they never interviewed me. They basically watched my TikTok and wrote an article about it. So I guess these days it's cool to be a reporter because you don't actually have to interview anyone. You can just go on TikTok. All right. So here's some more medications associated with dementia. Opiates, things like heroin or morphine. Proton pump inhibitors like omeprazole, which increases amyloid in the brain and can decrease vitamin B12, an important B vitamin for neurologic and brain function. And next are benzodiazepines like Xanax and Valium. I'll talk about those more on the next slide. Tricyclic antidepressants like amitriptyline or Elavil can cause dementia with chronic use. And that's what I'm saying about all these. I'm not saying never take them. I'm saying you don't want to be taking this every day of your life. And then SSRIs like Prozac, Paxil, and Zoloft. I'm not a fan, certainly long term, of those medications because of the long-term brain damage that we see. And so specifically going back to the benzodiazepines, things like Ativan, if you take them for 3 to 6 months, they raise the risk of developing Alzheimer's by 32%. They're often taken for anxiety or to help with sleep. Now, if you take them for more than 6 months, it boosts the risk by 84%. And then if you take the benzos for over a year, it can result in cognitive impairment that can continue after you stop the medicine for up to 3.5 years. All right, so that was bad news. What about some good news? What are some medications that actually prevent dementia? And this is what I'm thinking about. Men who take Viagra have lower odds of Alzheimer's, and I bet you the same is true of women. So why in the world would Viagra help with the brain? Um, it's been shown to reduce the amyloid plaques. It enhances blood flow via nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a gas. It's one nitrogen and one oxygen atom together that open up blood vessels. And it's neuroprotective, meaning it protects neurons. Um, it reduces tau tangles, which are often seen with Alzheimer's. All right, and these are prescription drugs. Here are the recommended lower doses I recommend you start at. So for example, Viagra or sildenafil would be 25 milligrams and Cialis or tadalafil would be 2.5 milligrams. And Lori's asking, what are alternatives to help with anxiety? I mean, my favorite is lavender essential oil, but there are many others. Okay, so what are the problems with the existing therapy today? Um, Specifically, this new antibody against amyloid, Leqembi. The side effects that are seen in a third of the patients are frequent brain bleeds and brain swelling to the point that if you want to take this drug, they are going to insist that you get a monthly brain scan to make sure that you haven't developed a brain bleed or brain swelling. And but the drug companies have a solution to this. Instead of calling these side effects, they call them aria. Doesn't that sound like a song? It's just a nice, it's don't worry, it's just an aria. What's an aria? It's amyloid related imaging abnormality. Imaging, because again, if you want to take these, you have to get imaged every month. All right. So again, yeah, not a fan of Leqembi or drugs of that class,